Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tommy McCarthy, and this is Let's Talk Cyber. I am absolutely delighted to welcome my new guest here today, the one and only Heide Young. Welcome to Let's Talk Cyber, Heidi.
Thank you, Tommy, for having me. Such an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Heidi. Well, the subject matter today is pretty straightforward. It's all about women in cyber. It's as simple as that. Obviously, how much of an advocate we are for supporting the great work that all the different women groups do around the world, promoting diversity, promoting empowerment. We want to delve into that, Heidi, and get some real honest answers about some of the questions I've got for you. But before we go down that road, who is Heide Young? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Come on, let's know all about Heide Young. Who are you? Where have you come from? And why on earth are you living the life in the UAE?
Okay, so first, I'm somebody who wears multiple hats, too many hats sometimes. But I've been here in the UAE for the last going on 8 years now. And before that, I was in Australia and big advocate for women in cybersecurity. I was on the leadership team for Australian Women in Security Network, founded by the lovely Jackie Lustow. And when I moved here to the UAE, initially first Dubai, and now I'm in Abu Dhabi, it was shocking to me that there wasn't a group for women in cybersecurity specifically. And so I remember I moved here and I was still in the hotel, and there was a conference like a month in, and there was one table at this conference that had women, and those women turned out to be my co-founders of Women in Cybersecurity Middle East. And we started out as a very small group of women, and I'm very proud of what it's grown to today. And for myself, I didn't start my career in cybersecurity, so I'm a really big advocate for anyone who's looking to transition into cybersecurity, or who just has a passion and wants to learn more and see how they can add value within the field. And within cybersecurity, I love the human side of it. And I love working with business units and understanding the different business units and entities, how they work, and making sure that cybersecurity is positioned as a business enabler, because we're often seen as the no people and the fun police. So I really enjoy working with different business units and positioning cybersecurity as that true business enabler. That's, I guess, kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah. It's a good start of 10. Heidi, WiCSME, Women in Cybersecurity Middle East. I'm a huge supporter for a multitude of reasons. One of your co-founders I've known since 2016, the wonderful Eileen Cuprez. She hosted myself and a few of our shareholders at a conference in fact, it was ADIPEC. So ever since meeting Eileen, I knew that there were some great, credible personalities working hard to establish a presence for women, as you quite rightly said, in the Middle East. And we're not going to poo-poo the fact that it's taken some time for women to gain the necessary recognition in the Middle East. It's just the nature of the beast. It's certainly made your job a little bit harder, but, the success that you've had, the stories of success that you guys have had are exceptional. From a global perspective, let's just jump right in here, Heidi. What I want to understand is, what does it really take to be a mother, and often the only female working in this fast-paced industry like cybersecurity? Because I know, if you don't mind me saying, you're a proud mum of 3 children. Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
For most people, that's a career in itself, but no, you jumped into cyber. So tell us, what are the challenges? What does it take to be a mother in this industry?
So I would say ruthless organizational skills, to be honest.
For sure.
A very good calendar organization. But really, I think it's, I mentor a lot of women and mothers as well. And I think it's really important for all professionals to understand their strengths and how they add value into the workforce. Confidence doesn't happen overnight. And I think for mothers specifically, when you are going through a pregnancy and you take time out of work, coming back into the workforce, it can be really daunting experience and really challenging. So I think it's really important to, sit back and even write down your core skills, what you bring to the table, because there is a seat there for you. And sometimes you do have to put your hand up and you have to speak up, and don't be afraid to speak up. I mean, someone's not always going to call on you in the meeting. If you have something to say, speak up, say it, and make your opinion known, and it will be valued. So I think those are, that's probably one of the main things. And it's really hard I hear different stories from different industries for women specifically, but really, I would say try to find an employer and a leader who understands the challenges, the demanding that come with being a mother, a career mother as well, and make sure that they understand that, okay, you might get pulled away. Maybe, you get a call, someone's sick at school, you have to go pick them up. But, it doesn't mean that work isn't going to stop. You can make it up later. And, we need that flexibility. So flexibility doesn't mean no work. Flexibility doesn't mean that you just get to work from home all the time. But you need that flexibility because life happens. And organizations need to understand that we are all humans and we all have children, whether you are a male or a female. Either the mother or the father needs to go pick up the child from school if they are not well. And this happens quite a lot,
Yeah, for
So
sure.
when they're younger. So I think it's really important to also have those honest conversations with your employer, that, I'm dedicated to my work. This is where I want to go in my career. I still want to grow my career. However, if there's a minor little setback, like someone is unwell, then, I'll make it happen. But I just need you to work with me on that as well and give me the space to do that.
Definitely, absolutely right. And sadly, for all the wrong reasons, it's always mom that picks up the mantle of the first point of call, because every child in the world wants mummy when they're not feeling well, and it's normally mum that gets the call, and dad's too busy, that usual nonsense. But two really interesting points you made there that I have to agree with wholeheartedly is the ability to manage your time effectively and be a real stringent time management professional, because you're juggling a multitude of different balls in the air all at the same time. Take a seat at the table. I know somebody else that would absolutely fly that mantra. Absolutely. Why on earth shouldn't you be at the top table if you believe you're of the same value, in relation to your professional capacity? So there's no question. Now, my next question could be quite controversial, and it's not a dig, but I do really want to understand the invisible pressures that women face in cybersecurity that are not talked about enough in the workplace. And this is not a dig at any one entity or any one nation, because we're all guilty to a certain degree of covering over some of the challenges. So what are the invisible pressures that you see women face that are not talked about enough?
Sure, and that's a great question. To thank you so much. I'd say a lot of it has to do with unconscious bias. If you haven't thought about it, you haven't been in that situation, and you don't have a wife, a mother, a friend who is in that situation, then yeah, how can you think about putting yourself in that situation? So I would say there's pressures of being overlooked, specifically from being a mother. And I can speak from experience before. And, years ago when I first became a mother, people didn't think I wanted the promotion or the extra workload because I was also a mother. And they're like, oh, I just didn't think you wanted it. I'm like, oh, no, you talk to me. Of course I want it. I'll make it work. Don't worry. So I think just being overlooked, just that unconsciously, and thinking that potentially we don't want to grow our career, or that we can't because we are too busy.
Yeah.
And I think, women can be in cybersecurity. It is a male dominated field, and often you are the only female in the team. And it can be daunting to speak up in front of a room full of people who you're like, wow, these are the experts of the experts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, like for me specifically, I always say I am not the technical person in the room, and I really look to my SMEs to provide that support. But I also, and this is where it comes back to like how I say to other women, own the expertise and the value that you bring to the table, because while no one will know all the answers, and I've learned that. I'm well into my career now, and I've really learned that no one has all the answers, so don't be intimidated to speak up, and to make your opinions and your knowledge heard.
Yeah, and really valuable points, Heidi. And I think it just triggers the thought process a lot more when a woman of your experience is willing to share those kinds of challenges What kind of risks do you think that companies face when leadership teams don't lack cognitive diversity? Because ultimately, you get the best out of people when there's debate, when there's engagement, when there's equality. So if you don't have that diversity, are there risks associated to that?
Absolutely. And I love talking about cognitive diversity rather than diversity on its own. And because I really feel that you need diversity in all senses within cybersecurity specifically, because as I always say, attacks come in various forms, right? So you need the diverse skills, diverse perspectives, cultural experiences, education, everything all coming in at one to really tackle the problem. And companies today, they are remote, they are in person, they are full of diversity. So to not have that cognitive diversity when it comes in cybersecurity specifically is a real setback and it's a real risk. So definitely highly, highly important to have that cognitive diversity within your cybersecurity teams.
What's next for WiCSME, the Women in Cybersecurity Middle East, for 2026?
Yes, thank you. And honestly, first of all, thank you, Tommy, for all your support over the years. It's been absolutely amazing. And we can't do what we do without our male allies. And you are one of our male champions. So thank you so much for all you do.
It's our pleasure. My pleasure too.
So what's next? So I'm very excited to announce that we have a new partnership, recently signed a new partnership with the OSINT Group. So Open Source Intelligence, and they are giving exclusive discounts to our members for their OSINT and intelligent training programs. So I'm really excited for this. It's a huge occasion for us to really expand our partnerships and give all of our female members a discount to this exceptional, much needed training sessions. And the next thing is near the end of last year, we signed an agreement with the Dubai University to continue the great work of CyberShe program that Dr. Reem and Priyanka started in Kuwait. And that the thing that came about from the CyberShe program, which was really fascinating. I've been in so many different CISO roundtables, and everyone was talking about the same concerns. They're saying students and new grads, they're not ready for real world cybersecurity roles. They're lacking some of the technical expertise or workplace skills, and they're just not ready. And talking about the skills gap. So with the CyberShe program, it's come to bridge this gap. So you have Women in Cybersecurity Middle East, WiCSME.
Yes.
Together with the EC Council and the London School of Cybersecurity, developed a bespoke 4-week intensive bootcamp training program where you're combining technical expertise, learning, along with the soft skills as well that employers demand to prepare these women to immediately contribute into the workforce. Kuwait, I believe the percentage Kuwait saw a 30% success rate in jobs, promotions. And so, so we're launching here in the UAE in partnership with the Dubai University. And it's to train 125 women over the next 3 years.
Wonderful.
Here in the UAE specifically. So across the region over the next 3 years, it's 1,500. But this will help, more women get more positions into cybersecurity. We're really excited for that.
We'd love to know more about your CyberShe program because I think it's invaluable, the work you're putting in. But wow, 1,500 individuals to be trained over 3 years. What are the challenges you think you're going to face?
I'll be honest with you. And, one of the challenges that we do see is looking for sponsorships to support that. As you know, we are we're not for profit, but a volunteer organization. And so we are reliant on our sponsors to support these initiatives and the cohorts of UAE and for the future regional cohorts as well. So I would say that's probably the major concern, challenge that we have.
Well, let me do you generous, kind-hearted, big SMEs and vendors out there that see huge value in empowering the next generation, the leaders of cybersecurity. WiCSME need your support. So without a doubt, Heidi, we need to find those kind-hearted, generous, but shrewd business people that see value in aligning themselves with such a dynamic organization. So we're getting really close to the end of this podcast, and there's so many other questions I want to ask you, but the one critical one, because it's on the tip of everybody's tongue right now, is have you seen an impact with the use and the development of AI in the workplace? Have you personally seen an impact? And if so, is the impact been positive or has it been negative? What are you seeing going on right now in the workplace around the introduction and use of AI?
AI is reshaping the work culture, and not just technology. So from a cybersecurity perspective, AI has changed the speed and the scale of both attack and defense. So, we all know from the attack side, AI lowers the effort to produce convincing social engineering content, making it harder for everyone to, judge authenticity. But then at the same time, it makes it easier for those malicious actors to increase the volume of the attacks and their impact. With AI, it introduces a whole new attack surface, right? So I was having a look earlier on, OWASP, and they've formalized their top 10 risks for LLMs. And it's really fascinating to read, what their top 10s are. It was a prompt injection, so manipulating the AI, insecure output handling, training, data poisoning, sensitive information disclosure, which is a big one, and over-reliance. So, there's nearly an AI tool for nearly any type of, say, productivity needed in the workplace. And I like to take a bit of a step back and think simplistically and practically, and think if organizations haven't set the right foundation of governance and organizational processes in place for their employees to take advantage of these tools, then how are they keeping the company and its data secure? We used to talk a lot about, shadow IT.
Yes.
But now the conversation has shifted to shadow AI, where adoption outpaces governance.
Are we getting it right ethically? This is, as a business leader, are we setting enough parameters within the workspace to ensure that our staff, team members are not using AI to do unethical things, more importantly, cut corners because they see it easier to save more time, therefore really not doing the necessary due diligence in the workplace? Do you think organizations have set the governance parameters efficiently enough? And ethically, do you think we're getting it right now?
Look, I think there's a lot of work still to be done for enhancements, right? But, AI is reshaping trust. It's reshaping decision-making and accountability. And it's really important that we educate our employees and that we have AI literacy, and AI literacy needs to be a security control. So simplistically, before AI, we said, think before you click, right? But now it's more of a need for humans to understand that anything, text, voice, and videos, can be artificially generated. And so we need to verify before we trust. But then, as I said, just like with shadow IT, businesses need to understand what each of the business units need for now and futuristically. So you need to have your security team embedded within all of those business units in order to ensure that security is working with them and continuously enhancing them and not seen as a blocker for them.
Well, Heidi, I am almost certain this AI subject is a whole new podcast for us. So I'm expecting to see you back on Let's Talk Cyber very, very soon. Heidi, we could talk all day, and I wish we had time to talk all day. Heide Young, one of the founders of Women in Cybersecurity Middle East, WiCSME, as is passionately known. Thank you so much for joining me on Let's Talk Cyber.
Thank you, Tommy. I really appreciate it. Thank you.